Yo, what's good, y'all? In today's video, I got the how to make holdable abilities video. If you don't know what that means, I'm referring to abilities like Kamehameha, which is going to be the example I'm going to be using. You guys know how in games and stuff, it could be battlegrounds game things, but game really, actually, no, I don't think those are really in battlegrounds games. But you guys know how in games, if you hold down a certain key or maybe you hold down your mouse and you're using an ability, the longer you hold it down, the more damage you'll do and stuff. So that's pretty much what I mean by holdable abilities. So I'm just showing you guys how you can make abilities where like you kind of charge it up, then you fire it, and then pretty much based on how long you held it down, that will determine how much damage you did. The longer you hold it down, the more damage and stuff. So yeah, pretty simple concept to understand. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay. So first things first, I clearly have an effect, some sound effects, and a part. Again, you already know I don't make them this stuff. I get all of it from the toolbox. So go to the toolbox for sounds and stuff. I honestly dismantled the Kamehameha because it was too complicated to try to make a detail to try to um modify a detailed Kamehameha, which pretty much just means it's made of multiple parts and grouped together. And tween all that, I didn't feel like doing all that, so I just took one part from it and added a particle effect to it and stuff. So yeah, so this would be my Kamehameha. I know it looks very basic and stuff, but the whole point is just to show you guys the concept of making holdable abilities. You guys can have all the fancy, nice looking VFX and all that. So yeah, so I just have a part inside of server storage named Kamehameha. I have this charge effect, which is it's just that same blue particle effect you guys just saw and stuff. This is going to be the effect that's going to be around the player's hand while they're charging the ability. Then I have in Kamehameha animation, again, got it from the toolbox. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, insert a local script into starter player script. Now for me, I'm going to be using the Kamehameha animation, all that stuff on the client side and stuff. You guys can do this differently. So yeah, so I'm just going to drag and drop the animation to the local script, rename the script to combat script, then in parentheses put local. You're going to delete the print hello world. You're going to make some variables. First, get the user input service. So local UIS equal to game get service user input service. Then create a variable for the sound service. So local SS equal to game get service sound service. Then create a variable for the core remote event, which we need to create. So head on over to replicated storage, click the plus icon, insert a remote event, and then name it to core actually no, sorry, combat event. This one needs to be combat event because this is a combat system. So yeah. So then we're gonna say local combat event is equal to game that replicated storage wait for child combat event. Then I'm gonna create a variable for the local players. So player is equal to game dot players dot local player. Then I'm gonna create two variables. One will be the damage multiplier, which keeps track of how much like damage cycle, like pretty much after a certain amount of time it'll keep increasing, and then that'll be the multiplier that's multiplied by the base damage to determine how much damage a player should be doing once with their attack. And then we have the holding down key variable, which is pretty much just to see if the player is still holding down a key. So we're just gonna say create a variable for damage multiplier. By default, set this to 0. Then you're gonna create a variable called holding down key. Wait, holding down key or holding key down? Holding key down actually makes more sense. Holding key down. So by default set this to false. Then we're going to set up the first function, UIS that input began, connect function, in parentheses put input, comma processed, enter. You're then going to say if user input type, or sorry, if input dot user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot keyboard and not processed, which pretty much means the player is not typing in chat, and holding key down is equal to false because obviously like if a player is holding one key down, like let's say you have multiple abilities that are binded to different keys. Let's say you have one binded to the E key and one binded to the R key. Obviously if a player is holding down the E key to use one ability, you obviously don't want them to hit the R key and then they're able to like charge up two different attacks at the same time. So yeah, we'll just leave it like that, then enter. Then you set the holding down key variable. You're gonna set it equal to true, and then we're gonna set the animation drag. So local AT is equal to player dot character dot humanoid dot animator load animation. In parentheses, you're going to put script. Then you're gonna get the Kamehameha animation. You're going to play said animation. And then for me, I'm going to freeze it so that the player has, time to charge it up. And then once they're done charging, then I'm just going to play it as regular. So I'm going to freeze it by setting the speed to 0. Then I'm going to play my charge sound effect inside of the sound service. Then I'm going to clone over the charge, hence why it's like the particle effect, hence why it's in the replicated storage. So I'm going to say local charge is equal to replicated storage dot charge clone, and then I'm going to say charge dot parent is equal to player dot character dot left hand. You can put this in either left hand or right hand, it doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to set up a for I loop. This is pretty much what's going to increase damage and stuff as long as the player's holding it. So for I is equal to 1 comma 5. You can do this as much times as you want. So the way I have set up right now is going to go 1 2 3 4 5 every 1 second. You guys can adjust this as need be and stuff, right? So for I comma 5 comma 1, then enter. Then you're going to say if holding key down is equal to true, which means you're still holding it down. Then you're going to say damage multiplier is plus equal 1 and stuff, right? And then you're going to say else if holding key down is equal to false, which means they're ready to use the attack. If that's the case, then of course you're going to stop the charge sound effect if it's still playing. Then you're going to destroy the charge particle effect. Then you're going to adjust the animation speed so that it continues playing as regular, so it can finish. Um, then you're going to fire the remote event. Oh, sorry, combat event. You're going to say fire server quotation marks, and then I'm just going to put Kamehameha. Right, and then of course you're going to send over the damage multiplier and stuff because we obviously need to know how much damage we need to add on. And then we're going to say damage multiplier is equal to 0. We're going to set that back. We're going to set it back to normal and stuff. And then lastly, throw a break in there because if you don't throw a break, it's gonna repeat. It's gonna like do it like 2 times rather than like just once. Then you're gonna skip the break in the end, and then you're just gonna throw your task that way. So every 1 second, the damage multiplier will increase by 1, but you guys can adjust these numbers as need be. Then we create a small function down here, pretty much the opposite. So UIS.input ended, connect function, in parentheses, put input, comma processed, enter. If input dot user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot keyboard and not processed, enter. Then if input dot keycode is equal to enum dot keycode, same keybind you just used. So for me, E, enter, then holding key down is equal to false. And then boom, that's simple. Now we can move on to the server script. So head on over to server script service, click the plus icon, insert a script, rename the script to combat script. Oh, my bad. To combat script, in parentheses, put server, delete print hello world. We're going to have to create a couple of variables. First, you're going to get the sound service, so local ss is equal to game get service sound service. Then we're going to get the tween service, local ts is equal to game get service tween service. Then I'm going to create a variable for the combat event, so I'm going to say combat event is equal to game that replicated storage, wait for child, combat event. Then I'm going to, let me just double check to make sure we're good. Okay. Then I'm going to set up the first function. This is just set up the hitbox and stuff simply so that we can test the damage. So I'm gonna say game.players, that player added connect function, in parentheses put PLR for player, enter, then player.character added connect function, in parentheses put character, enter. Then you're going to create the hitbox. So local hitbox is equal to instance.new in quotation marks part, parent this to the characters humanoid root part. Then we're going to move on to the name. So hitbox.name is of course just equal to hitbox. Then we're going to set some properties. Hitbox.mass list is equal to true. Hitbox.anchored is equal to false. Hitbox.canCollide is equal to false. Then hitbox.transparent is equal to 1 unless you're testing. Hitbox.size is equal to vector3.new. 5 comma 6 comma 25. Then hitbox.color is equal to color3.new. Then 1 comma 0 comma 0. So it's just red for testing. And then we're going to set it C frame. So hitbox pivot 2. Then character.humanoid. Root part dot C frame. And then lastly, you're just going to weld it to the character's humanoid root part. So local weld constraint is equal to instance.new weld constraint, parent this to the hitbox, weld constraint part 0 is equal to hitbox, and then weld constraint part 1 is equal to character.humanoid root part, and we are done with that function. Let's go ahead and move on to the second one. So after all that, then I'm gonna say comment event.onServer event connect function in parentheses put PLR for player, comma event type, comma arg1 enter, right? Then I'm gonna create a variable for the player's character. So character is equal to player.character. Then set up the if statement if event type is equal to Kamehameha enter. And then you're going to make it so the player cannot walk. So character.humanoid.walk speed is equal to 0. Then you're going to assign, you're going to create a variable for the damage multiplier. So damage multiplier is equal to arg1. Then you're going to clone over the Kamehameha. So Kamehameha is equal to game.serveStorage Kamehameha clone. And then you can just have some properties. So for me, I'm going to say I'm going to parent this to the player's character. So I'm gonna say Kamehameha parent is equal to character. Then I'm going to say what's it called? I'm trying to think. Kamehameha is okay. I don't know. My brain stopped working anyway. So Kamehameha C-frame, or no, let's just do pivot 2 actually. That would be better. So I'm gonna say pivot 2, then I'm gonna just say character dot humanoid part dot C-frame, right? And I'm gonna say time C-frame dot new, and then from there we're gonna say I'm doing this way simply just because that's how, like, this is what works best for the part. You guys may have to change up these numbers. So I'm just gonna do 1, comma 0.3, comma negative 1.3. Then I'm gonna say multiply this times C-frame dot angles simply so I can rotate it. Again, you guys may not have to do this, or you may have to do it differently. So 0, comma math dot ratchet for radians. I'm gonna put 90, comma 0, right? And then once we're done with that, we're good to go. Then let's set up the tween, or the first tween. So this is tween 1, which is equal to ts create, of course, Kamehameha, comma, tweeninfo.new, then 1.1 seconds for the duration, comma, enum.usingstyle, dot exponential, comma, enum.usingdirection.out. Again, you guys can do whatever you want. And then comma, and then special brackets for the property table. Then size is equal to, we're going to pretty much increase the size. So vector 3, and we're going to say Kamehameha dot size dot x plus 20, right? So because we're increasing x. Now you guys may have to do this a little differently. Like pay attention to this. So we're gonna keep everything else the same size, right? So Kamehameha dot size dot y remains unchanged, and then Kamehameha dot size dot z remains unchanged. Now, if you guys test and what happens is your Kamehameha part and stuff, right, or like your ability part is like the size being increased in like the wrong direction, like instead of like it increasing like, like forward, it's increasing like, going up, or like generally the wrong direction or something like that. Then try messing around with this. So for example, if X isn't working for you, you would delete the plus and 20, and then you would go over here and then just do plus 20. If Y doesn't work, then go to Z and stuff. It's simple as that and stuff. Because I can already tell people to be confused, and trust me, it's really nothing to be confused about. It's very simple. So yeah, then after all this, you're going to say comma, then we're going to set the C-frame, because obviously if we're increasing the length of the part, we have to move it along too and stuff, right? So C-frame is equal to Kamehameha dot C-frame, and then you're going to say times C-frame dot new 11. Again, this is what works for me, comma negative 1, right? This definitely will probably be different, because if you guys watch my other videos, normally to do stuff in front of you, you would have to do a negative number for the z value, but it's different now since it's a cylinder. But yeah, so then we're gonna place that tween. So boom, we're gonna play the tween. Then we're gonna play the fire sound effect again. Got all the stuff from the toolbox. Then we're gonna set up the raycasting so we can detect any players in the line of fire so we can damage them. So first up is the local start position. So is equal to character that humanoid part dot hitbox dot position, then set up the direction variable, so it's equal to character dot humanoid part dot hitbox dot C frame dot look vector, then set up the raycast parameters, so it's equal to raycast params.new, close parentheses, enter raycast params.filter type is equal to enum.raycast filter type.exclude raycast params.filter descendants instances equal to character get descendants, right? And then we're going to create a variable for the ray. So ray is equal to workspace raycast, so the start position in there, the direction, and the raycast params. Then, as you guys know, we need to multiply the direction by a small value and stuff. But in this case, it needs to be an actually medium-sized value. The reason for this is because remember, this is a long-range attack. Like this isn't like you're not throwing punches or something. Like this is a long-range attack. So I'm gonna set it to like 20, but you guys can do whatever you want. Then set up an if statement. So if the ray fires, if the ray, everything's good with the ray, and it makes contact with an instance. And lastly, ray.instance that name is equal to hitbox. So we know we make contact with another player. So enter, then create a variable for the enemy character. So it's equal to ray.instance.parent.parent. Then set the enemy. Then we're gonna do enemy character.humanoid.health is less than equal to 5, then we're going to multiply this by the damage multiplier. So if you hold it down, so if you were to, for example, if you held it down for 5 seconds in the case the way I made it, this value will be 5. So instead of doing 5 damage, you would do 25 and stuff. And obviously, you guys can do the math for other values. So just change stuff as you want and everything. Then after this, we're gonna go after this, and then we're just gonna throw a task.wait 0.3. My bad, not 0.1, 0.3 seconds. Then I'm gonna set up the second tween, so let's copy and paste 0 so some time. Control C, Control V, rename this to tween2. Tween2. This time, this one is gonna take 0.3 seconds. Exponential. It'll be in, and all you're doing is just setting transparency to 1. So transparency is equal to 1. So I'm just going to delete all this, set it to 1, boom, right? And then we're going to destroy the charge. We're going to destroy the charge effect. So destroy that, and then we're going to make it so that the character can walk. Again, so it's equal to whatever your default walking speed is, and then I'll just set up a function. So tween2 dot completed connect function. So whenever the tween is done, enter. We are going to destroy the Kamehameha part itself. So yeah, boom, just like that. Let's go ahead and test this. As always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description. As always, highly recommend that. Oh, I did not even mean to do that. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I was trying to press W. I did not mean to do that. I was trying to press W, not E. But anyway, what the? Wait. Why is it doing that? I just realized. Oh, that's why. Oh, my bad, guys. I forgot. And I feel like I forgot something here. Okay. I forgot to include this part, the whole if, it's equal to a certain keybind. So for me, obviously, I'm going with E. So if input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode.e, enter, and then just copy and paste, everything we did. So Control C. Oh. It seems there was an issue. Okay, here, Control Z, like redo what we just did, and then just leave that last end. So Control C, boom, Control V, and then boom. Okay, there we go. That should fix the issue. Okay, so now I'm going to hold E. You guys hear the sound effect. You guys see it. So if I let go, you'll see the animation played and stuff. That was me holding it though. If I just pressed it once, then boom, it'll play a lot faster and everything, right? So yeah, we included the break at the end. Okay, so perfect. So yeah, so everything is working good. Let's go ahead. We could just test the image. We could just set up a test server real quick and stuff. So it should load faster than normal and stuff. But let's wait and see. Okay, and we are. Oh, we're still not here. We are almost here though. I guess we'll be here in a second, and we are here. Okay, so that player should have a hitbox. So if I just press E, boom, did damage. Now look, if I hold it now, right? If I hold it, wait, boom, you see we did more damage. So yeah, that's you make a holdable ability. I was thinking about making a video on how to make Kamehameha, which would literally be this exact same video. I just would spend less time talking about the holding part like explaining the holdable part. But yeah, this is pretty much the same as like the Kamehameha thing. But yeah. So just let me know if y'all want that. But yeah, as always, if you guys have access to any one of my skills and mods, you guys can become a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Thank you guys for watching this video. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.